We both had third grade for our math lesson, and the standard that we chose was 3AT1, solve real-world problems involving addition and subtraction of whole numbers within 1,000. The learning goal that was met through our lesson was students will be able to solve a real-world missing subtrahend word problem using their knowledge of subtraction. So the word problem that we had was Ella had 164 shells in her shell collection. After giving some shells to her friend, Ella had 49 shells left. How many shells did Ella give to her friend? This word problem gives students the opportunity to practice subtraction with a missing subtrahend. They must determine for themselves what kind of strategy they will use, requiring them to recognize the importance that subtraction plays in the solving of this word problem.
Do I need that?
Yeah.
It's still going, is that
It's fine.
Okay. Alright. I don't know how close I need to hold it. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Alright, this student solved the problem by using a standard algorithm. They wrote the minuend and the subtrahend and then used a missing difference problem. In this case, that worked fine because the problem involved a missing subtrahend, so it was fine to write that there, but if it was a missing minuend problem, then they would have gotten an incorrect answer. So, in order to address this, we decided that with our students, we would use the idea of the student's pictorial representation, I don't know if you can see that, and base 10 manipulatives, along with a sentence frame like this, or a subtraction sentence frame like this, to address kind of the issue of knowing the different types of subtraction problems that there are. So, what we would do is read the problem with the students together and ask them what we were looking for, which is how many shells Ella has, or how many shells she gave away. So then we would ask them to, or then we would write this subtraction sentence frame on the board, and then we would ask the students how many shells Ella started with, which is 164, and they would tell us where to put that number. So we would draw an arrow here and write shells Ella started with. This is hard. Okay, so then we would have them count out using base 10 manipulatives like cubes, like those Unifix cubes we use, or the little orange base 10 things, or even just paper base 10 manipulatives. And we'd have them count out 164 of those using, they can use hundreds, tens, and ones. And then we would ask the students what other information the problem gives us, and it gives us how many shells she gave away. So then we would have them tell us where the shells that she gave away would go. And that would go right here, and we would write how many shells Ella gave away. And then we would ask them where the number of shells that she is left with would go, and obviously that would go here. Shells Ella's left with. And then we would have them count out the 49 shells for the number that she's left with. And then they would count those out with their manipulatives and then cover those, the 164 manipulatives that they have. They would cover those up with the 49, and then they could see how the ones left that aren't covered by the 49 manipulatives are the ones that Ella gave away. And we would discuss how this is a different type of subtraction problem than they might usually see, and we could even introduce those vocabulary terms of subtrahend, minuend, difference, because that's also an important part of understanding the different types of subtraction problems. So that would help us bridge the use of this student's picture and how she drew every single one of the shells by using manipulatives and by using the empty sentence frame for subtraction problems. Oh.
What?
I didn't put a plus sign.
Okay, so in order to set the parents at ease that their students are meeting their learning goals, we would tell them that the student strategy builds on other ways that students can solve different problems. So the parents will see that the students can use the formal algorithm, but they can also use manipulatives or drawings. The students will also be exposed to new strategies for problems and missing minuend, subtrahends, and differences. These different types of problems will also put the parents at ease because in the real world, children will be solving all different types of problems.
And